All right, folks, welcome in. Welcome in. What a beautiful Sunday. I don't really know what to say. Yes, I understand I'm wearing a little bit of blue. You know, I have to show respect to Laurent, our co-host, who unfortunately is a resident Chelsea fan and who is probably having a very rough Sunday. You probably won't see a match post-match reaction from him. He's probably licking his wounds, but we're waiting for CJ to come back from his trip, and we'll record our pod tomorrow, so you guys will have it fresh with both myself and CJ on the pod to roast. I mean, talk about what was another meltdown. Another meltdown for Chelsea. You know, for a club that spent $2 billion, who has had the biggest loss that came out recently from UEFA, you would think the the ager of men, would be able to produce something noteworthy. But I mean, we are talking about Chelsea after all. We are talking about Chelsea. And to those fans that were singing, "Oh, we've won it all, we've won it all," cheating your way to win anything isn't really the right way to do it. But I mean, if that's what helps you sleep at night, by all means, enjoy that. Enjoy that. You know, Chelsea. What is there to say? I really wish I had a red card to pull up, because like what was that? What was that? What type of performance was that from Chelsea? Like I don't even. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm clearly excited. I'm clearly ready to just roast Chelsea, but I need to keep it professional. Welcome back to the post match player rating section, which I'm just filling in for CJ. I actually don't mind doing these, so I may pop on here and there. Arsenal versus Chelsea, another crucial London derby, and we were talking about it in the last pod that really it's going to depend on what Man City do, and Man City got away with murder. And I will get to our game with some of the VAR decisions. Man City got away with murder, and they should have dropped points, but they were able to win. They won four on the bounce, and they're in good form. Um, Now coming to the Arsenal game, I'm gonna first start off with Chelsea. Just make a few comments about them before I get to talking about Arsenal and our player ratings. Um, Banter aside, I think Chelsea had a very good first half. I think they caused us a lot of problems. I think uh, if they were at full strength, in full strength meaning they had Kukurea, they had Fafana, I think they would have caused us even more problems, because I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think Kukurea does actually play Bukayo Saka very well. He doesn't give him space. Kukurea is a very good one-on-one defender, and on the offensive end, he has more end product compared to Joel Hato. Reece James, wow. I think I think if he can stay healthy for England in the World Cup, I think they can do quite well. But it really comes down to his health, and can those hamstrings hold up? If they can hold up, I mean, we saw what he produced. The free kicks, the corner kicks. He has that in his locker. Of course, for England, I don't know if he'd be the main one taking it. However, to know that you have someone like that can produce to that quality, you got to give it to him. Um, there isn't really anything positive else I can say. I mean, in the second half, I mean, we're gonna talk about the red card. Another red card. I think that's 10 red cards this season. The post-match interviews, Liam Brassinier was asked if they're gonna start finding players, and to be honest with you, you can find players. It's not. It's still not gonna stop it, right? The players need to understand and understand the context of the game. Understand that you're on a yellow card. Understand where you're at in the pitch. Like that tackle on Martinelli. Like, where is Martinelli going? And if you know the player very well, you know that Martinelli is going to dribble past you, keep his head down. He's gonna get cut off, and that's it. Or he's gonna try to cut in and he's gonna shoot, and it's gonna be skied over. Like he doesn't have that same Brazilian gene that I always talk about. Um, Now, if we were talking about Martinelli running down the wing in the EFL Cup, in the FA Cup, or Champions League, that's a completely different story. Because during those type of games, he shows up. But Pedro Neto let them down, like straight up let them down. Because I think it was a little 50-50 in the second half. Like first half, I think it was even. 100% it was even. It was 50-50 in the second half right until that red card, and then it was just lopsided. It was completely lopsided. Um, First half, there was that VAR shout, handball, and that foul on Declan Rice. And to be honest with you, when I saw that happen, I was like, "Damn, VAR is going to call this. Like this has to be like if it's not a handball, if they're going back to look at it, 100%. I thought it was going to be given as a penalty. So I do think we did get away with one. Um, but there was a lot of like, and the thing is, like, I understand it's a derby, but but Chelsea have been known recently to be a dirty team. You know, Enzo Fernandez, Moise Caicedo, Delap, Cucurella, um, just some of the afters from the game. Like you really it really takes away from the spectacle, and it's unfortunate because you know I know Arsenal was there a few years ago that we were known as like a team that constantly does poor tackles, and we were getting red cards. And now that looks like it's going to be following Chelsea everywhere they go, and they're going to get red cards. They're going to get red cards on those 50-50s that maybe they really shouldn't get red cards. But because there's a track record and, 10 red cards this season, I think they're one away from, like I think if you take Enzo Maresca out of the red cards, um, then they'll need two. That'll be nine. But like it's quite sad. It's really sad. Um, but it was a good performance. I think it was a good performance by Arsenal. I think we could have done more. David Raya like single handedly kept us in the game. Two unreal saves. That reminds me. We actually didn't talk about the punch on Jao Pedro. I think it's more harsh to not give the one on Declan Rice, whether it's the handball or the fact that he was just hugging. I think it was Joel Hato at that time, if I'm not mistaken, versus the punch from Raya because he does like it's not that he missed, it's not that he fully missed and he just took the player out. He was going for the ball. Now, have we seen those called? Yes, but ask yourself as a fan, whether you're an Arsenal fan or a neutral, when has VAR got it right? When have they been consistent with their call? And this is where my problem is always with VAR. I don't want to go on a VAR tangent, but I'll just take a minute of your time. VAR is a tool, similar to AI. That's a tool, similar to anything that you use as a tool. Now, if you use it right, that tool is going to help you with anything that you want to do. If you have the wrong like, there's nothing wrong with the tool. Like if you have a drill, there's nothing wrong with the drill. It's the user. The people that are using these technologies in the PGMOL are looking one week they're looking like, okay, we're gonna look for the slightest touch of the hand and we're gonna call the penalty. Next week we're gonna look to see who breathed on the other person and we're gonna call that a penalty. Like there's no consistency. Like Gabriel last week against Spurs, Kolomoani's goal got counted out because it was a push. This week, Fulham, Spurs. I mean, screw you, Spurs. But I'm just keeping it objective. Same thing happened, but the goal stood. That's where there's so much discrepancy, and that's where a lot of the fans are saying, get rid of it, scrap the entire thing. The tool is here for us, and we need to optimize it. You need to get these, and I'm not ageist, but you need to get these old people out. You need to get player like I'm a firm believer that you need to get a player like as part of the VR team. Because you can watch something back and it looks really, really bad, but then when you're watching it at game speed, you're like, okay, I can see, sure, might be a yellow card. And I think some of the rules that they were saying for next season, they want to bring in that they can review second yellows and things like that, and time wasting. They're trying to put more things in place for time wasting. Those are all good, but like if you still have the same people running it, it will still turn out to be inconsistent. That's the biggest thing. I think if you ask any football fan, we just want consistent calls. We want to know what a handball is. We want to know what a tackle is. We want to know what a foul is. We want to understand. And none of this by the letter of the law BS. Because by the letter of the law, Declan Rice touched the ball. If you're going to go by the letter of the law, right? And then you're going to talk about proximity. Like it, it just leaves so much room for interpretation. Whereas they're trying to keep it by the letter of the law, and then they're trying to be subjective about it. Pick the avenue. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's the last thing I'm going to say about VAR because clearly I am not a proponent of VAR. But anyways, coming to the Arsenal players, um, strong lineup. I think we went with the strongest lineup that we possibly could have. Um, I don't think there was any omissions. If I'm remembering correctly, no, there's no omissions. Isaiah was very happy to see that he got the start again. Kai Havertz was a welcome sight on the bench. Still no Martin Odegaard. Um, Ricardo Calafiori was fit. Mosquera was fit. Lewis Skelly, Christian Norgard, Martinelli. Like it was a very strong bench when you compare it to the $2 billion spent by Chelsea. Um, let's start at the back. David Raya. I would have to give him like an eight. I think his distribution was well. I think his high claims were well. Um, and the two saves, like saving João Pedro's header and then Garnacho, like the cat like reflexes for David Raya. We if we don't win something with him, it's gonna be. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. Like he is standing on his head now. 13 clean sheets. I know this one wasn't a clean sheet, but 13 clean sheets this Premier League season. He's on his way to win another Golden Glove. So bravo. Um, Start going to right back, Jurriën Timber. I think this was one of the games where I wanted to see if that week off was going to help him, and it really did. I think he played well. I would give him a 7.5. I think he could have done a little bit more. I think some of his touches were poor. He was popping up in some really good offensive zones, but I think his touch let him down. But overall, like you know, he played well. I don't think there was anything from his side that I was really concerned about. William Saliba, give him an eight. He was credited with a goal, and he should have been because the ball was going in. Whether I believe it was Chalaba, he touched it or not, the ball was going in. So I think if I'm not mistaken, he had like 92% passing and six clearances. So he played well. Big Gabby, I mean, what is there to say about Big Gabby? CJ always says, if I'm gonna go to war, I want Big Gabby on my side. Shout out Foscast. I think he always asks when he's interviewing ex pros, saying like if you're gonna be in a bar fight, who would you want? And if I was an Arsenal player and I was asked that question, Big Gabby would be the first person I would want in a bar fight. He's just there. He's there. He's not shying away from it. Silly yellow card, I will say. But I mean, to be fair on his side, it was his first tackle. But again, you got to understand the context of the game. So hopefully that won't come back and burn us. Um, in Capier, it was okay. It was okay. I would give him maybe a six, 6.5. Um, he played well. I think Cole Palmer had a little bit of joy, but I also think he had the freedom to roam because sometimes he would pop up on the right side and the left side. Nothing that was concerning for me, but no, I mean he's been solid. Coming to the midfield, Zubamendi, another like he has sometimes he has these passes that you're wondering like why force it? Why force it? Just play the safe pass, clear the ball. I think he had a poor back pass in the first half. He did have 27 passes over 90 minutes. Um, it was very underwhelming. I'd maybe give him a six. I wouldn't like maybe five and a half, 6 out of 10 for player rating. I don't know if I'm being harsh, but I think he could have done better. And I think these are the games where a little bit of the physicality you see comes through. And I don't know whether it's a niggle or it's a physicality, but he's had lapses in his concentration, which is a little bit worrisome. So hopefully it's just a one off. And actually, it's not a one off because it's happened a couple times, but I'm sure the coaching staff are working with him on it. Um, Declan Rice. This is a tough one because the goal, I don't want to say it was his fault, but I think the way that he was marking and he wasn't even turning around to look at when the ball was getting delivered, because Capier hit it, and it was an own goal. Um, I don't necessarily blame Capier. Not that I blame Declan Rice, but I think an experienced player in Declan Rice should have done better. Like, okay, you guarded him, and then as soon as the ball's coming, you turn around and you look to see where the ball is, identify and try to help your defenders. Um, I still think he had a very good game. I think he there was a play when Caicedo picked up the ball and he tried to progress, and Rice was right there and he followed him. I think the discussion about Rice versus Caicedo is over. There's no discussion to be had. It is completely over. I think until Caicedo can keep his cool and keep his head, he's never going to surpass Declan Rice. It's almost like when Spurs fans like to talk about Christian Romero, and their only argument is the fact that he won the World Cup. Okay, so what? What has he done since? How many red cards has he had? How many times has he hurt your club? Right? These are all factual things. Like, sure, he's a good defender, but he's hurt you more than he's helped you. So, same thing with Caicedo. So that discussion is over. I think I would still give Declan Rice a 7.5 out of 10. Um, Ebbs. I think Reddy needs to tell him that he's playing against Spurs every week because um, underwhelming is what I would say about Ebbs. Um, I thought he could have done more with the opportunity and the trust that he was given to him. I don't know what it was, whether it was the fact that Enzo and Caicedo were on top of him, whether he just couldn't get into the game, but it seemed like the game was passing him by. Like he didn't get a grasp of the game, and this is, I guess, sometimes where maybe Mikel resorts to Odegaard because Odegaard will drop deep, try to pick up the ball, and do things like that, and push Zubamendi and Rice up. But I don't know if it's a lack of confidence that Eze doesn't want to do that and take control. But very underwhelming. I think I would give him a six. Bukayo, I mean, solid, nothing special. Um, like, didn't do anything to hurt us, didn't do anything to necessarily help us, the star boy. I don't know if I'm being harsh, but I'd give him 6.5. Um, Trossard was very disappointing. I thought he would cause Reece James a lot more problems than he did. Um, I thought he was a little bit too like he was trying to get too close too many times and taking silly fouls, silly niggles, and taking the pressure off Chelsea when we had them pinned in. Um, and he came off. He came off quite early. If I'm not, I think from my notes I wrote 55th minute. Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe it was 60th minute, but that's not a game that I expected from Trossard. I thought he was going to cause more problems on that side. Um, he didn't do anything necessarily to hurt us, but I thought he could have done more to help us. Um, I know Laurent's going to enjoy this, but 76 minutes for Gyökeres, no shots attempted, 6 out of 12 passes, and 0 out of 3 dribbles. I mean, there was a couple good runs that he had from the left. I thought that one play with Chalaba, he could have been a little bit stronger on his feet. I think he just went down a little bit too easy, and I don't necessarily blame Gyökeres. I just blame the way that football's evolved, right? Like you want to go down right away because when you look at it on instant replay, it might be subjectively interpreted a different way. So I don't know, maybe it's coaching telling them to go down, and then it's like the devil's advocate, right? Like if you don't go down, But if you had gone down, you might have gone in the call. So it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But I thought he could have been a lot stronger there. But overall, like I think he caused their defense like a lot of problems. And then when Kai Havertz came on, like I think he just trying to get his legs under him. I think he's going to be very crucial for us in the run in. Um, just giving some respite to Gyökeres and making sure that he gets a little bit of rest. You don't necessarily want to run him into the ground. You want him to be rested, and there's a lot of games coming, especially with the Champions League. There's a lot of games, and hopefully we do go far. And again, more and more games. Um, Rice did. I forgot to say this. Rice did have a little bit of a niggle, and you saw Christian Norgard actually made an appearance, which I was very shocking. I was certain that if he was going to take Declan Rice off, he was going to go to a back five and bring on Christian Mascara. But I was happily shocked to see Christian Norgard make an appearance in the Prem, and he did well. Like it was a short cameo. I'm not going to even give him a player rating. Um, Player that I will give a player rating is Martinelli, causing that red card. This is the progressive runs that you want to see out of him, right? But then the end product is not there. Like you pass the guy, sure you got tackled, sure the game stopped, but there's a lot of times that you see him do that, stay on his feet, we get the advantage, and then nothing happens. That's where Martinelli really needs to work on it, and I know 100% the coaching staff are working with him, but it's getting exhausting. And I can see where someone like CJ would say, or CJ and some Arsenal fans that would agree with CJ say, okay, you know what, call a spade a spade. We got to sell him. We got to bring in someone that's a little bit more lethal. I think Martinelli can get there, but I don't know what's holding him back. I don't know. Maybe it's the weight of the jersey. I don't know. Maybe it's the men, like whatever it is. If he can get over it and play the way that he plays in cups, as in the Prem, I think it will be like he will stay. But it does seem that his time is ticking. And then quickly touching on Kai again, I don't really want to give him a rating. Like he played well. He just trying to get his feet under him. He was dropping in, picking up the ball from half. I think overall it was a good performance. I think Mikal got it right. I think the substitutions were right. Um, I think the tactics were right. I do want us to work a little bit more on defending set pieces because recently we've been a little poor, especially from the front post. I think we can do a lot better. And if you're gonna put someone like a Declan Rice at the front post, you got to tell him like you got to turn around. You got to turn around and face the ball, right? If you don't want to be in front of the offensive player, and you want to be behind him, you still got to turn around and face the ball. That's not a problem. You have to face the ball. And Gyökeres, I mean, uh, haters are gonna say, "Oh, well, he didn't have a shot on target," but he is causing a lot of problems. He is causing a lot of problems, and he's opening up spaces for our midfielders, and he is providing an outlet which we haven't had. Um, as much as I am a Kai truther and I love Kai Havertz, I don't think some of the things that Gyökeres has been doing, Kai could do. I think Kai can do different things, and I think they'd be really good to play off of each other. Um, but Gyökeres, I think he played well, even though he didn't have any shots. I think he played well, and it's good. Hopefully, our team continues to get healthier and healthier because this run in is gonna be intense, right? I think we got Brighton away midweek. Um, City play Forest. We're fighting for their lives. We'll break it down in tomorrow's pod when we record. But it's starting to get more and more real, and going to the MX isn't simple. So we got to take this energy, we got to take this run, and just realize, Mikel in his post match presser, he said, a week ago or the weekend in North London Derby, we were in the same position, 1-1 going into half. We give up a late goal. Sorry, we give a goal right after we scored, and look what happened in the second half. and the boys showed up. Obviously, I would like them to make it a little bit easier on themselves, less emotionally taxing, because those last few minutes, oh my days, I was concerned. I was very concerned. But again, let's see another victory. I mean, it's great. We face Spurs through. I think it's St. Tottenham Day. This is, Spurs are mathematically officially out of the title race. They're probably going to get relegated, and Chelsea, we've had their number. We have had their number. Um, so it's just a matter of keeping this going and going into that game against City at that yeah with as much points as possible. And hoping that somewhere along the line they drop points. Um, but yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys had a great Sunday, and we're gonna post. It's gonna be a little late, like I said. We'll probably have it out for you Tuesday morning. Given that CJ's flying back and we want to have him on the pod because why not? It was a great game. It was a great performance, and it's better having two Arsenal fans rip on one Chelsea fan than one v one. Nah, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. But as always, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We see you guys watching our content. We appreciate it. We're trying to come up with more and more content. We're trying to interact with you, and we just appreciate it. But we will see you Tuesday morning. Look for the pod coming out, previewing match day 29 and reviewing all the games that happened this past weekend. Adios.